welcome to another episode of Better You Life Coaching. So we're going to be continuing the video series that I started at the top of the month, which was centered around fixing Black America. So this is part 2. And this was going to be about fixing the mind state of Black folks. And there are a couple points I want to hit on. First, this might be a little bit controversial, but I've seen it in a lot of different situations, especially as I've gotten older. In my sincere opinion, Black folks have some internalized racism that we execute against each other. Whether it be quote unquote colorism, or whether it be just straight up bigoted against other Black folks, ironically. I believe it comes from our experience in this country, or the legacy of our experience, rather, in a lot of cases, where we were taught we were less than. And a lot of us internalized that and passed it down through the generations. And because of that, we've dealt with each other as we were less than. And first and foremost, you have to establish value. One, that everybody has an innate human value, regardless of their income, regardless of their status, regardless of their position, they are human capital of the community. And as such, that carries value in and of itself. And it's up to us as the leaders of community, as the leaders of resources, as influential individuals, to create spaces to utilize our capital. And I really truly believe that if you get to a point where a lot of this unconscious bias, ironically, is rooted out, I really believe that's the barrier for cooperation. That's one of the big barriers for patronage for Black businesses. For a lot of people, even though they may not say it in these terms, they measure their success by their proximity to whiteness. And this is what I mean by that. They get that job, that one is, everything is all set, it changes their life. And what do? They want to get into a particular neighborhood. And that's not to say that, folks are in horrible neighborhoods. Like, average folks aren't. Average neighborhoods are average. But it becomes one of those things where we want to move into that white neighborhood. We want to put our kids into that private school, that white private school. We want to put them in the whitest of places. And deep down, innately, a lot of times we view things that's associated as Black as dysfunctional innately. And that's not to say that there aren't problems in the Black community. I mean, Exhibit A, I'm doing these videos. They most definitely are. However, a lot of times we only get the negative focus of these. And because of that, we never, or I shouldn't say never, we rarely get to see the side that paints us with the brush of our excellence. I can't tell you how many men that I grew up with. I can't tell you how many men that I witnessed just as a result of following my father and grandfathers around. That I can tell you that the mentality is this: you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you piss perfection, and you shit excellence. And I can't tell you how many men that are walking around today that are raised by guys like that very much is still in the core of them. And likewise, we have some women in the community that has done great things. We have some women in the community that are true pillars. And a lot of times, certain loud voices get amplified through echo chambers, especially online. And it becomes a thing to where you get a cleaving and a separation. And this is the thing that I feel we really truly have to understand, is that as black folks in America, regardless of your class, regardless of where you are, we in this together. And I say this often, how do you divorce the head and the tail of a coin? Like, you can't do it. Even if you split it dead center, it's still gonna have a head and tail. We are two halves of a whole, and a lot of times we talk about each other in the broadest sense instead of talking to each other. And we truly need honest dialogue to get on the same page, to be able to enact a plan, and be able to truly plant the foundation to establish something and build wealth. Second thing is, in regards to changing our mentality, we gotta change the things that we value. I touched on this a lot in the first video, but so I won't labor here too long, but there are a lot of social theories and things that I feel the black community ends up being ground zero for, and we eat up hook, line, and sinker, that frankly it doesn't truly work for us. And that's, like I said, that is not to deny that there are issues present that we have to work on. There's issues present for everybody that they have to work on. But it is to say, a lot of these things have been destructive. A lot of these things have eroded the family. And when you erode the family, all you're really doing is dividing and conquering. Because for every family that's split up and broken, one, there's a profit incentive for a lot of companies where, you know, hey, if more people are operating families in these dual households, then of course that means two people that's looking for a house or place to rent, more people, more products to sell, so on and so forth. But this may go down a little bit of a tinfoil hat territory, but I'm not afraid of it. When it comes down to it, as a population, one, black folks are constantly told that, you know, we're like 15% of the population, especially election time. When it's Democratic primaries, like, you're so important. Then general election comes, it's like, yo, you only 15%, sit down and take what we give you. But the reality of it is this: I truly and vehemently believe that black people, as has been demonstrated by our history in this country, we have a punching weight that no other group has, in the fact that, yeah, our numbers, we may be 15% of the population if you want to go with whatever number they throw out there. But the reality of it is this: we tend to be very concentrated, and contrary to popular belief, we have had large movements where a lot of us have been able to get on the same page. A lot of us have worked towards a particular goal, and while we may have had different ways of working towards it, i.e. a Malcolm and a Martin, the reality of it is, you know, we were all working towards the same thing. Fred Hampton, Stokely Carmichael, so on and so forth. And the powers that be, they aren't stupid. They recognize that. They know that. So I feel a lot of internal conflict and division is stoked to keep us divided. Because, and this is going to bring me to my last point, when it comes down to a lot of things, it's not your brother, it's not your sister. They may be the person who's acting it, but just like a hitman. Yeah, the hitman technically was the one that caught the body, but are you really mad at the hitman for doing his job or the person that paid him? A lot of the things that we need to address and fix is not to say that, you know, there isn't work to be done, because there very much is. But for a lot of things, you shouldn't be looking to point the finger at your brother or sister. You should be looking up. And I feel that once you get that perspective, once you get that realization, and once you understand that with a lot of the discourse, the incentive is not for, you know, man versus woman or anything like that, but rather to divide the collective and get the collective going in these disparate ways. Because now, if I got 4, 5, 6 different popular waves going on within the population, pick them off one at a time. And whereas, even though you've always had, as I said, people who have different means about going through certain things, but for the most part, agreed on some of the major deliverables. Yeah, at that point, it becomes who I'm going to negotiate with. Who's most reasonable? Do I want to deal with that guy over there? See, do I want to deal with that guy over there? Or, you know, do I want to deal with the guy that I find to be the cooler head in the situation? Either way, I gotta deal with somebody. And that's the whole goal. To get the powers to be to come to the table. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting that has to be done by us. But rest assured, you cannot ignore government in the equation. And you have to have a populace that knows how government works, understands how politics is really done, that it's not just coming out and casting your vote every 2 or 4 years. It's going down to the community council meeting. It's going down to the PTA meeting. It's calling your politician when they do some fuck shit and making sure that they know you will vote that ass out if they keep on. It's making sure that you hold power to account. And that will make sure that people keep their hands out of your community. Because that is one thing I can say, at least outside looking in at some other key groups in America. There's consequences for interference with them. And we have to do the same thing. And we have to, one, like I said, we have to change our values, to value the family, to value excellence, to value the things that have made us great in the past, and continue to make the great ones of us great. We got to place that value on each and every person in the community. And I truly believe if we do that, that'll go a long way to enabling the cooperation and the building of the economic systems and infrastructure that's needed to truly make Black America a city on the hill. But that's just my thoughts. Please leave your comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace. I'm out.